Robert.
Yo, it's shaking AC.
Not much. Although I do have a Canadian Kit Kat sitting right in front of me.
I
Do you
know
know about this?
that's your thing, right? You take it around
My
Canadian
new thing.
American ones. You know what? I thought it was just hocus pocus, but then I saw some people online doing it too, and they're saying, "Wow, there really is a difference," and people prefer the Canadian one.
Canadian candy, apparently, like chocolate Halloween candy.
Yeah.
Apparently, well, what I heard people say, well, that's probably because you guys don't put as much, crap into your like candy and all that stuff that as Americans. But we also looked it up, and the Canadian Kit Kat is made by Nestle, and the American one is made by Hershey. And then when I said that, they're like, "Oh, that explains it, Hershey."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
So anyway, yeah, and it works out because it's red,
You were
red.
you were using those at the recent FBR summit, right?
I was, yeah,
How
we
did
had
that
them.
go? I don't think I've spoken to you since then.
It was a ton of fun. A great group of people there. What I really like about it is well, it's our world, right? It's operations, franchise operations, and all about franchisee performance and profitability and happiness and success. So all the people in the room are just, care so much. There's no ego. Like it was just awesome. People just really care there about getting better. There were some great sessions. There was a lot of like working sessions, where you would work together with the group at your table, rather than just panel. So I really liked it. And we got to do a session to kick everybody off. We got a main stage session right at the beginning
Oh,
to get
that's
everyone
awesome.
fired
Okay,
up.
so what would you say is like the biggest maybe contentious issue or issue that deserves discussion or whatever that you got from that?
Are you basically asking me what's my key takeaway?
I guess so.
Because we can just use that word. Well, if are you talking about key takeaway that people got from our session or that I got?
Whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you want to rant about.
Okay,
You want to
well,
get into politics? I'm here for that.
not going there.
Okay.
No way, man. Well, I think I'll say the biggest takeaway that I overall heard and saw is that people um, are realizing they need to level up their support.
Okay.
The biggest takeaway that I heard when people came up to us after and commented on our session, which was like amazing to hear their feedback. The number one thing I heard was when I say like what really resonated with you, key takeaway, they're like it was that consulting versus coaching.
Oh yeah.
So have you heard me talk about this before?
I think we've sort of chat chitted about it a little bit.
So what do you think is the difference?
Well, I mean, I don't think about it as a dictionary definition because I'm sure you could pull out a dictionary and see the definition, right? But when I think about a coach, the first thing that goes to me is sports, right? Like a basketball coach or a hockey coach or whatever. There's usually people with experience that they're bringing, and they're sort of training people to achieve things. You know, you need to be a better three-point shooter. You need to play better on defense. So I'm going to take my experience that I have from you, and I'm going to train you and show you different ways that you can build yourself up, right? You still have to have the desire and the motivation to do it. Whereas consultants, and this may be a little biased because I live in a city that is just flooded with consultants. Basically, when BlackBerry shut down, every middle level manager left and became a consultant, and they claim that they can make your business dreams come true. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, and they're usually like, this is what you need to do. These are the steps you need to follow.
Hmm.
And I'm going to check in. Maybe they don't even check in. I'm going to come back next time and give you more steps to follow. And I'm going to charge you an arm and a
Hmm.
leg. And I also find oftentimes consultants haven't achieved what you want to achieve, which to me is like, why would you take advice from anyone that hasn't done what you want to do? You know?
Hmm. Well, I'm going to give you a plus for your assessment there because the consulting approach is typically just that. It's coming in, it's giving information. It's starting with I'm the expert. I'm going to tell you what to do. Like you said, like next time I come, I'm going to be the expert again. Might not include, probably doesn't include accountability, doesn't use like any social and emotional intelligence to try to get the franchisee or the person on the other side to want to be to be motivated and to want to be accountable. So we were talking about consulting being that more old school, reactive, just Q&A, and I'm the expert. Whereas coaching is this more forward thinking. Okay, like let's start with where do you want to get to with your goals? And what I love about coaching is it works with top performers. Consulting doesn't, because top performers are like, what are you going to tell me that I don't already know? Right? Or multi-unit legacy franchisees, right? With coaching, it's like, okay, I'm not coming here to be the expert. I'm coming here to find out what do you need and where are you trying to get to with this business? And a lot of franchisees haven't even thought about that. So one of the things that we do when we're coaching is even sometimes help them figure that out. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want? Why? Well, I became a business owner because I want to be my own boss. Okay, but why? Like, what does that mean? Oh, so that I can retire by this age. Okay, why do you want to retire? Oh, because I have X number of grandkids and I want to take them all on a big trip to whatever, or I want to go do a whirl around the world tour, or something. Oh, okay, so that's what we're working towards. Well, let me see what I can do to help you. And coaching is is more helping you figure it out, but asking the right questions, bringing some expertise. We were not saying by any means that you never consult. Sometimes you're just telling a franchisee information, but often you're bringing them that information from other sources, like from usually the home office. Like, what are the benchmark metrics across the chain of franchises? Like, that's something I can help you with. But then let's look at how you're doing in comparison and let's work together and let's create goals. So we talked a lot about that and people and I see you're about to like you're kind of smirking, so I'll pause, but then we have to talk about the risk of consulting. Why not? So
Yeah,
you
well,
jump in.
what came to mind is maybe this should be used as like a vetting or screening question when finding franchisees. Would you rather work with a consultant, somebody that's going to tell you what to do, or would you rather work with a coach, somebody that's going to help you figure it out yourself? You know, I mean, I'd
Yeah,
go
if
with
you did
somebody
that,
who's more open to a coach, but they
yeah,
got to
I
be
like that.
accountable to it.
I like that. And you just would have to really be clear on what the different, like go deeper on the difference so they understand it's not just about getting you to figure it out on your own. So here's the benefit of coaching is that I'll go the other way. I'll start with the risks. The risks of consulting are you end up with franchisees who are dependent on that field support person. No wonder they're like getting texts all hours of the day. There's no boundary set. So they're dependent on the field coach. So the field coaches are getting burnt out. And often that consulting approach, like I hinted at before, leads to disengagement with the franchisees. They're like, by the time they think they know enough, they're like, well, why would I listen to you? I'm on the front line doing the work. I know more than you. You're coming in from our head office as a consultant for me. So you start to get disengaged franchisees or dependent on the coach that aren't growing. When they're coached, we're creating them to be more independent and learn how to get the answer themselves.
Mhm.
Whether that's maybe sometimes from the coach, the field support person, or maybe from the resources that they have in their brand, or maybe going out into their community and learning at their local business association or chamber of commerce, but it's creating more empowered franchisees that want to grow and want accountability.
Yeah, understanding concepts like that, like the difference between a coach and a consultant, these are very like high level type of concepts, thinking outside the box, which is usually what you get tested on when you take an IQ test. They don't test you to see if you know what point in history this particular battle happened or what the derivative of 36 is or whatever, right? They test you if you can think broader. So maybe that's what you do in vetting is just do IQ tests. And if people fail an IQ test, you clearly know that they don't understand coaching versus consulting.
Robert Brisky, you just keep doing you.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I'd have to think a little more about that, but yeah, you definitely want franchisees that want support and want to grow. But the big problem is that it hasn't been clear what that means, and it needs to be more proactive, more coaching, more strategic versus this reactive
Yeah.
consulting, operational
But
only
you know
support.
what they say is if there isn't money to be made in finding a solution, there's definitely money to be made in prolonging the problem. Those are consultants. Prove me wrong. Hit me
Great
up in
time
the
to wrap it
comments.
up.
Let's wrap it up. Three, two, one. Go be
Go be awesome.